I was visiting a friend in a monastery in Quebec a few years ago. Quebec is the French part of Canada. And I was kind of amused when I saw the monks. They all seemed to be really skinny, even you could say gaunt, And what was remarkable was that when I joined the monks for their meals, they ate tremendously well. Again, this is the French part of Canada, and I guess among them they had some French chefs or some people who could prepare really good food. We had the French cheeses, we had nice French soups. The food wasn't opulent, but it was just very well prepared. It was delicious. It was certainly healthy. It had a certain simplicity to it, but it was so good. And I thought to myself, how can these guys be so thin with such wonderful, delicious meals? Now, the answer is that in the monastic life, the monastic tradition, there's a great precision. There's a proper use of God's creation. There's a proper understanding of God's creation. The understanding is that food is a gift from God. It's good. It's meant to serve us. It has a proper place. Food is a wonderful servant, but it's an awful master. It has a certain place, and again, in the monastic tradition, they understand God's creation and God's balance and the rhythms of nature and life. They understand how to properly appreciate and use food. Food, of course, is meant primarily for the nourishment of our bodies, but it's also meant to give us a certain satisfaction. It's meant to bring a certain consolation to us at certain times of the day. Breakfast is meant to be enjoyed. It's a little reward. Lunch is meant to be enjoyed. It's a little reward. Dinner is meant to be enjoyed. It's a little reward. It's meant to give us a certain consolation. Yes, at one level, we are gratifying the flesh. We're giving the flesh a certain consolation because the basic principle in the spiritual life is if we don't gratify our flesh in a proper way, in a way that is due, we will find ourselves gratifying our flesh in sinful ways, in ways that are not proper, that are not healthy. And again, the monastic tradition finds this balance with great precision. They enjoy food, but never to excess. Now, part of the reason they don't abuse food is because they're so filled with the love of God. They're so filled with the Word of God that they don't have that kind of anxiety to fill themselves with something else. It is so important in the spiritual life to be filled with the love of God, with the love and peace and joy that He gives. In the monastic tradition, they're feeding on the Word of God all the time. And they understand the beauty and the goodness of creation. And they respect creation. They give it its proper due. But they don't abuse creation. And this includes food. And so they're eating delicious meals. They're enjoying wonderful food, but they're never abusing it. They're still really thin because their deepest hunger and thirst, it's for God. And God alone can give them satisfaction.